Hey guys, Tekking here. You know one of the great things about starting with a whole new series, talking about One Piece? I'm not beholden to all that shit that happened back in the Bleach reviews, you know, with all the different alternate Tekkings and the sketches and people running into my room every 5 seconds to interrupt me. See? Don't have to worry about that shit anymore. Yep. It's just me and a manga series. Reviewer, reviewee. That's just how it fucking... Oh, come on! Okay. You and I need to have a fucking discussion. What do you want? Really? You're gonna play dumb? You have absolutely no idea what I'm going to ask? I don't know. A Crokembush? I don't have time to play 20 questions with you. Just tell me so you can get out of here. I'm Law Tekking, you know, Law from One Piece, and you're reviewing One Piece. Come on, man, this is a no-brainer. I should be doing this shit. Okay, now you're just sounding ridiculous. Just because you have the name of a character in your name from this series doesn't mean you get to review this series. That would be like if Neji Tekking reviewed Naruto, and we all know what happened with him. Okay. I've had enough of your shit. Okay, buddy, put the sword down, please. You're a big meanie! You won't let me do the show. You can call him Law all you want, but he's still technically me, so what the fuck do you want? Hey everybody, Tekking101 here, here to review One Piece Chapter 853 titled, Not Here! Exclamation point! Okay, I'm used to overanalyzing the chapter titles because of Bleach. I gotta move on. The chapter titles are gonna be very normal compared to what we were working with there. Oh, and speaking of normal, we have a large, morbidly obese woman with the ability to divvy out parts of her soul into inanimate objects, of which become cartoons, manifestations of her own will, carrying a skeleton that has the ability to move due to a magical fruit. So Big Mom has, you know, wiped the floor with Brook. Honestly speaking, I think he put up more of a fight than we all kind of figured he would. I mean, we knew he was going to get beaten down. We knew that it wasn't going to be like, oh yeah, it's the Soul King taking on one of the Yonko. You know, he didn't win, but he's not dead, and he managed to put up a pretty decent fight, I would imagine. He went down swinging, goddammit. So Big Mom has stripped him completely naked, except for his boxers. Okay, this is getting freaky. Don't worry, Brook, you could just play dead and you'll be fine. Oh, wait, shit, right. Play alive, Brook! It's the only thing you got! Give it a shot! Maybe it'll work, who knows? Anyway, I don't think it was really Big Mom was the one that actually took Brook down. You see, while Brook was able to fight on par with all the chest soldiers, you know, he was able to emanate his soul power, and all the chest soldiers, you know, basically passed out. They couldn't deal with it because it was pieces of other people's soul, just normal human souls, that were placed into these chest pieces, and so, you know, using his own soul, he could, like, you know, reverberate the fear or something into them, and that, you know, managed to get them, you know, taken out of the fight. However, Big Mom's homies, the ones that are there with her, the three specific homies she's mentioning, are a little bit different because they didn't put parts of other people's souls into them. Big Mom directly put pieces of her own soul into these homies, and these are the three, probably one of the three strongest homies she has, probably the three strongest. Two of them were mentioned earlier by Pound as the, you know, the manifestations of Big Mom's ability to control the weather. So we had, and along with a third, a new homie, which I believe is the scariest of all of them. Okay, so first we have, I'm Prometheus. I have the ability to burn people to cinders with my awesome fireballs. Next we have, I'm Zeus the Thunderhead. I can shoot lightning bolts from on high to reduce our enemies to nothing but piles of ash. And then lastly we have Napoleon the Bicorn Hat. Oh my god! So what can you do? Oh, I just invade Russia, and I get my ass kicked. That sucks. You must have it rough. Anyway, so Big Mom states that these specific homies are essentially her clones, and there's no hope of Brooke being able to stand up to them. So it's not a big deal, though. It's not like Big Mom is gonna like start, you know, tearing Brooke apart, knowing the nature of Brooke's abilities. The Yomi Yomi no Mi, that really wouldn't, you know, kill him anyway. But he is pretty banged up. He does have one of the cracks on his head there. But you know, she actually is sort of like obsessing over him a little bit, like it's just like a rare figurine she just picked up, because she's like, oh yes, this skeleton, oh my, it's an amazing specimen, it keeps moving even though it's nothing but bones. I don't know why she just doesn't realize that it's a devil fruit, but then again, it's Big Mom here, so anything that's weird, anything that's out of the ordinary, she just, like, gets a fetish for, because her dream is to, like, everything, every race, every being of every single, doesn't matter what you are, coming together and have this utopia. So every time she finds something new and different, it's just like, oh, do you want to join my utopia there, little skeleton boy? All of the chest soldiers have ripped off Brooke's clothing. They have his cane sword, Soul Solid, as well as the cylinder thing that I guess he was trying to, you know, get the rubbing of the poneglyph and then put in, but all of that stuff is empty, so there's no real reason for Big Mom to be mad at him. He's basically just playing dead, yo-ho-ho-ho, and just acting like, oh, this is so disgraceful, I'm being petted by her, but there's really nothing else I can do. Actually, it gets really weird, because you've seen scenes with, like, hearts coming out and everything. I think Brooke might be, I'm going to use two Futurama memes here simultaneously. I think Brooke might be boned as well as death by snoo snoot at the same time. That's pretty hard to do, but the Soul King comes through, I guess. So Brooke didn't necessarily steal anything, well, nothing that we're aware of here. I'm just saying that Brooke has a very handy place in his noggin that he could, you know, hide something if he didn't want anyone to find it. I'm not saying that's like the rubbing of the poneglyph is in there, because that would be huge, and I don't think he would be able to fit it in his head, but he could hide something in there if he really wanted to, and no one would be none the wiser. But anyway, yeah, Big Mom brings up something interesting, her past with Roger. She states that at some point in the past, Roger basically sneaked in, got a copy of the poneglyph, and then escaped, you know, and she states like maybe she let it happen, or Roger did some trick and actually fooled her. Now, Roger, just like Luffy, has the ability to hear the voices of all things, and it's mentioned very vaguely here by Big Mom, too. I always wondered, I think it's about time we discuss this. What does that actually mean? Hear the voices of all things, okay? We're doing something, it's not a devil fruit ability, because we already know that Luffy has a devil fruit. That has nothing to do with it. And it's also probably not a Haki ability. I mean, it might be, maybe when you like get to a certain level of Conqueror's Haki, you can have this ability, but other people have had Conqueror's Haki in the series that arguably are even greater at using it than Luffy, and they haven't exhibited this ability, so I think it's something else. Probably something relating to the bloodline of D. That's the only thing I can think of, but what actually is this power? Does it get passed on to people through genetics? Is there a third party that has this power and can pass it out to whoever? It's an interesting ability that really has nothing to do with Haki or devil fruits. It's something completely separate. But anyway, yeah, Roger used this power way back when, I guess it was, you know, 24 years ago, to, you know, get the information off the poneglyph, and then he just left, and he managed to make it to Raftel, and Big Mom is kind of taking it personal, like she wanted to go to Raftel, she was supposed to be the queen of the pirates, and, you know, Roger pulled one over on her, and he was the first one to get there, so Big Mom is fucking adamant about getting to Raftel. She wants to be the next one there. It's also important to mention, like, I understand that Roger was the one that kicked off the Great Pirate Era when he was about to get executed, and he stated, you know, I left everything I own in one place. That kicked off the Great Pirate Era, but there was piracy long before that. So that makes me wonder, way back when, 20-something years ago, when Roger was traveling the you know, paradise and the New World, was it like the same basic setup? Like, were there Yonko back then? Was Big Mom a Yonko back in Roger's day, or was she just a normal pirate that had a lot of strength, or what was up with that? How was the situation? It's stated that she probably had the road poneglyph for a long time. Also, by the way, I messed up when I said that Jinbei was the one that gave her the road poneglyph. No, she and Kaido probably had their road poneglyphs for a long-ass time, because the minks were already aware of their existence, you know, like, you know, one is in Kaido's possession, one's in Big Mom's, and one's here on Zou, and then there's one that's missing, possibly on the moon. But anyway, yeah, so they probably had their road poneglyphs for a long time. Jinbei probably just gave Big Mom, like, one of the ordinary poneglyphs. So yeah, Big Mom's dead set on getting to Raftel, and she has a secret weapon on getting there, or at least deciphering the poneglyph poneglyph, and that secret weapon is Pudding. Pudding arrives in the room, and we find out that, of course, she has the third eye, but she's actually a member of the Third Eye clan, which is something that's never been really mentioned up to this point. I know Tien is one, but that's Dragon Ball Z, so that's completely... I just had to mention Tien. Come on, we're talking about three-eyed people here. In fact, I think these two would make a good couple. Yeah, okay, anyway, so, Pudding is a member of this clan, and I guess Big Mom is talking about, like, you know, if you ever had a true opening or, like, an awakening of your abilities as a Third Eye clan member, then you would have a power similar to Roger, being able to read or hear the voices of all things. She would probably be able to decipher the poneglyph. Pudding does that weird poofy face thing she does whenever she's, you know, giving someone attitude. I don't know. Remember when girls were all doing the duck face thing? Do people still do that? I don't know, but... No, that's old. That's past. Now it's the poofy pufferfish look. That's the new trend. That's going to be the new thing on Instagram. Selfies on the world over will be changed forever. Thank you, Pudding. But yeah, she kind of backtalks Big Mom like, you know, I'm just a half-breed. I'm just a hybrid. I might not ever have an awakening. So obviously Big Mom is her mother. However, we do not know who the father is or who the member of the Third Eye clan that Big Mom got with in order to, you know, make Pudding. But Pudding is unaware if she'll ever have a true opening, but Big Mom is very optimistic. You don't want to piss Big Mom off, because she has her own little set things she's doing here, like, yep, after Pudding awakens her third eye and reads the poneglyph, I'm gonna get to Raftel and be queen of the pirates and everything will be fine. And Pudding's just like, I don't know if I'm gonna ever awaken it. As I said, everything will be fine. So, moving on to the next part of the chapter, we get the duel between Pedro and Tamago. Now, last time we got this, it was pretty intense, because Pedro is putting his fucking claw down, and he's like, I'm not dealing with this shit anymore, and just slices Tamago right in half. Eggs begin to spill out, which was kind of funny. But no, this is in fact Tamago's devil fruit ability. Yes, he has the Tama no Mi, or the egg fruit, basically. Here's how this shit works. Just strap in, okay? It's weird. Alright, so basically, when you eat the Tama no Mi, you become an egg human, right? Now, Tamago's already a long-legged tribe, but he also ate it, so he got, like, that egg there. That's not an accessory, that's just part of his power. So Pedro cut it open, and the yolk came out, and the yolk is actually, like, Tamago's, like, soul, or, like, his true body becomes the yolk. And he's still alive, just as the yolk. And all the followers around Tamago and Pedro that are watching them fight are, like, explaining how the ability works. So, originally he's Baron Tamago, or Baron Egg, basically. But after Pedro cut him in half and he reconstituted himself using his yolk body, he is now the Viscount Chick. Get it? Because after an egg hatches, it becomes a little chick. That's fucking stupid, but whatever, let's just go along with it. Pedro just cuts this thing in half, too. Apparently, he's a lot stronger now, but he also still has the properties of an egg. Even though he's not an egg anymore, he's a chick, the egg is still there, and he could still be cut in half. So, if he's cut in half and the yolk is spilled while he's in the Viscount Chick mode, he'll go into his final form. So, after he's cut down in his chick form, and by the way, also, it seems like he can't talk while he's in his chick form. He's just saying, like, pew, pew, you know, like the things that a chick would say, so he can't actually talk. But anyway, after that, after Pedro cuts his chick form down, the egg breaks open again, the yolk comes out, and it's funny because all the followers around Pedro and them are saying, like, oh, now he's gonna reconstitute himself into his ultimate final form, the Duke Chicken. And then Pedro just picks up his sword and he's like, that's fucking stupid. I'm just gonna kill it while it's like this, because there's this vulnerability state where he just doesn't transform immediately. It's the yolk form that's completely defenseless and then transforms into the chicken. And so Pedro's like, and everyone's going on this spiel about how the Tama no Mi works and how, you know, you're gonna be fucking scrambled eggs after he's done with you. Shut up. Yeah, man, his final form is excellent, let me tell you. Please shut up. Oh, you're gonna be the one that's gonna have to shut the cluck up after... Okay, fuck this, I'm just blowing myself up. I'm coming, Zeppo! Make Tron for life! Ah! God damn, you don't fuck with Pedro! Holy shit, he just blew... He pulled out... That was awesome, man! I mean, he's dead now, which sucks. I didn't know that. Do all Jaguars come equipped with a TNT belt? I don't remember reading that shit in the zoo books. Remember Zoo Books, those things you get in the mail and the commercials were on TV? Man, the 90s were awesome, let me tell you. Anyway, Pedro just blew himself up, so he went out like a champion. Good job, Pedro. Good job. At least you were conscious, unlike what happened with Monet. As for what happened with Tamago, I'm not exactly sure. In this one panel here, it looks like at least he partially maintained his final form, the ultimate technique, unlocking the pure primal power of fowlery. Get it? The Duke chicken, but the blast, I think, just blew his ass up. So, yeah, but don't worry, if this final form is truly as badass as it seems, then the Duke Chicken will rise from the ash as a mighty phoenix and crush all opposition between his beak. But, yeah, luckily, though, Pedro did not kill himself. No, he was all ready to do it. I mean, this was completely unplanned. He was ready to suicide bomb everything there. So, you know, he's a boss. He's dedicated to his role as a distraction there. He went with it. But at the last minute, there was a mirror present in the room that they were fighting, and they were fighting in sort of like a courtyard. And then, of course, you see Chopper and Carrot and everybody there. It's like, hey, Pedro, jump in the mirror. And so Pedro's like, oh, shit. And then I guess he just jumped in the mirror and then threw the TNT belt afterwards or some shit. He managed to avoid the explosion. So they're all in the mirror world here. Anyway, so yeah, Chopper explains that, yeah, we gotta go and look for everybody. Don't worry, because Carrot, remember, Carrot is an ace at drawing, so she pulls out a sketch, a rough sketch of Brook and Nami and Luffy and Sanji and Pedro to see where they all are in the castle. And I was expecting, you know, I think we were all expecting to, like, it would be like stick figures, you know, like little stick figures or whatever, or like really shitty drawings. No, apparently Carrot is fucking ace at this. No pun intended, Ace. We miss you. But check this shit out. Is this not awesome? That's so cool. I want there to be a poster of that, like a wall scroll. Somebody's gonna make that a thing. Because that looks fucking badass, man. I guess Carrot's a big fan of the Bishonen kind of character, but whatever, I'm cool with it. So they're off into the mirror world. They spot Nami and Jinbei, so they're probably gonna, you know, go to them next. So the next scene, we have Luffy tearing up the castle once again. He's still on the third floor. Remember that, you know, this floor's been blocked off, and then Smoothie's waiting in the wings, ready to pounce on them. However, while he's running down the hall, just wrecking shit, Reiju grabs him and then pulls Luffy into her room. He bounces all over the place, and he's just like, whoa, where am I? Who are you? Why are you not wearing pants? Oh, fan service mostly. I'm basically Rule 63 Sanji. Oh, speaking of Sanji, he was just in here a little while ago. So, Reiju and Luffy catch up. You know, the last time they've seen each other, you know, was when Luffy was dying of poisoning, and Reiju kind of sucked the poison out of Luffy. And, you know, she brings him up to speed. Like, Sanji is aware of Pudding's betrayal. Luffy is aware, of course, because Pudding was fucking stupid and actually told Luffy and Nami what her intentions were. Reiju got her memory removed, but Sanji told her. So everybody's kind of on the same page here that, you know, Pudding's kind of a bitch, so everyone's on the same page with that, which is good. So, also, she brings up that the reason that Sanji doesn't want to return, though, the reason he still wants to stay here, that he can't leave necessarily, is because of the Baratier, and because there's hostages there. And Luffy's just like, you know, oh, there's hostages there. Even if they're really in danger, I'll go all the way back to the East Blue and protect them. It doesn't matter. I mean, like, you can't really do... I mean, Luffy says some things once in a while that are really well-intentioned, but sometimes you sit around and think that there's just... It's not... You can't do that, Luffy. I'm sorry, you can't. Like, whenever Luffy declared, you know, Fishman Island is my territory! Alright, Luffy, what are you gonna do if Fishman Island comes under attack right now? Right the fuck now. One of the fucking warlords decides to fucking wreck the island, or one of the supernovas, or one of the new supernovas show up and wreck the island, you know, and Fishman Island burns down. What are you gonna do, Luffy? Really? So, you know, you're gonna go back to the East Blue and save them? They'll probably be dead by the time you get there, because it'll take... You are literally on the other side of the world now, okay? Maybe back when you were in the first half of the Grand Line, because that's what they did with Strong World. Strong World, when they met Shiki and stuff, there was like, oh shit, stuff's happening in East Blue. All you had to do is figure out some way to cross the Calm Belt, and you'd be back in the East Blue. So it wouldn't be that difficult. I mean, it is difficult to cross the Calm Belt, but, you know, you could do it. It's the process is relatively simple. All you have to do is cross the Calm Belt and you're fine. But now you're not only having to cross the Calm Belt to get out of the New World, you would also have to travel on the other side of the world across the Red Line. So, I would sick the Straw Hat Grand Fleet on that. Get Bartolomeo on that shit. Call up Barty and be like, hey, Bart, yeah, there's this restaurant East Blue that seems... I'm giving Luffy a mafia voice, I don't know why. Yeah, see, there's this restaurant East Blue that might become under attack. You, set up a barrier around that, buddy. And of course, Bartolomeo would be like, of course, Luffy-senpai! And then the crew would be like, how are we gonna get there? I'm like, we'll figure out something. We'll fly on the love of Luffy-senpai. I think that would be the better move. Anyway, that was a fucking tangent. Moving on, Luffy jumps out the fucking window. Okay, that's whatever. Reiju is looking on in complete awe. Huh. Well, that's a new emotion. But yeah, Luffy is aware of what's happening now with Sanji and everything, so he's glad that he wasn't tricked. He understands that the reason he Diablo Jamba'd him right in the face and knocked off a tooth and probably resulted in some third-degree burns was just because that he didn't want his friends to get hurt. So Luffy, of course, forgives him immediately because that's the kind of guy Luffy is. And then he realizes, wait a second, this is not the place we need to meet him. You know, I'm tearing up this castle, but this isn't where I'm supposed to meet him. And he's starting to get really, really hungry here. It's amazing Luffy can still move. He's probably running on pure adrenaline right now. But yes, that's why he jumps out the window. He's like, I gotta go to the place that I promised to meet Sanji, like outside of the castle, like in that hill area there where they met on the side of the road. I gotta get back to that place. So he jumps out the window. We see a brief scene with Sanji here, who's just basically declaring that all the shit that happened to him, you know, he's recapping everything. Zeph could be killed. Everything was his dad, Judgy, Big Mom's declaration, Pudding's betrayal, everything that happened with, he kicked Luffy in the face, he got slapped by Nami. He's remembering all this shit and he's thinking, there's no going back now. And of course, that's the great thing about Luffy, though, is that you're never too deep with him. You're never just like, there's never a point with Luffy where it's like, I'm going to give up on you, or you've done something horrible to me and now I cannot forgive you. That's not Luffy's deal, at least not with his crew. Sanji is thinking, like, all this shit that's going on, there's no way I can turn back now. And the great thing is that Sanji, yes, there is a way back. There's always a way back, especially with Luffy. Okay, you could, you know what? I honestly think you could cut off Luffy's fucking arm. You could have fucking grabbed a sword, sliced off his arm, and Luffy would still forgive you, because that's just the kind of guy he is. Like, oh, it's okay, you're the one that said that, you were tricked into doing it, you're still my crewmate, it's just an arm, whatever. At least I look like Shanks now. So, yeah, that's the kind of Luffy he is, but, there's still some issues that he has to deal with, Big Mom and his dad and everything, which that'll probably come to a head, but as for actually, like, there's no going back now, you don't have to worry about that with Luffy, you'll be fine, and Nami as well. Nami is aware of what happened as well. Last scene of the chapter, we have Luffy crashing out of the castle into the village below, and he states that I gotta go wait for him at that place, and that ends out the chapter, so he's heading back to the area that they met before, which is good, because, if they stayed in the castle any longer, Luffy would probably pass out or have to deal with Smoothie. I still think it's going to be Jinbei and Nami facing off against Smoothie there, but yeah, so, I think there's going to be a moment coming up, like a reconciliation moment between Luffy and Sanji. Sanji's going to come to realization, Luffy's there waiting for him. He's going to go bring some food to him. He still has that bento box he gave to, he was going to give to Pudding, and he made it the same way he always does, and now he still has that probably. So he's going to go and, like, probably, Luffy's going to be out there in the rain, probably ready to pass out from hunger, and Sanji's going to walk up to him with, like, an umbrella or some shit and throw down the fucking bento box. I'm like, there you go. There's the food that I made for you. And then they're going to talk it over, and they're going to realize that, there is a way out of this, we can do this, and they're going to be bros again. It's going to be beautiful. It's going to be great, guys. As for everything else now, everything seems to be flowing at a good pace, getting to the final battle-ish of this arc. Like I said, this arc's probably only got about less than 20 chapters left. So we have to have a few fights in there. I want to see Smoothie get some action. I want to see what's up with Big Mom and her Zeus and Prometheus and the fucking bicorn hat shit. You got the Mirror World crew all assembled together. They figured out how the mirrors work. They have the drawings now, so they should be able to get their objectives pretty quickly. Like I said, Luffy meeting up with Sanji and that shit being reconciled. And then, of course, a fight with Pudding. Pudding has to fight against Reiju. That would be great. That would be awesome if we can get that. Some not just because of the sexy factor, just because of the, you fucked with my bro factor and my memories and shit, and you're messing me around and you shot me in the leg, I'm gonna fucking scissor kick you, bitch. But yeah, also, probably the biggest thing in this chapter is we found out the history, or at least it was hinted at, the history with Roger and Big Mom. So that's something else I want to know about a little bit more there. you know, the exact history behind that. You know, we have, was Big Mama Yonko back then? Yonkos even exist. How did Roger exactly trick her into stuff? What's the relationship between Roger and Big Mom, you know? I could see, you know, Roger playing the fucking, you know, suave game, trying to, like, he's like, you know, yeah, Big Mom, you're a pretty big lady there. Oh, all right, poneglyph, all right, what's that over there? Okay, later, bitch, and then leaves, and then she gets super pissed off at Roger, and then that's probably why, you know, that's it just goes from there. But anyway, yeah, I hope you guys enjoyed the video. I had fun. Hope you had fun. This will be Tekking101 signing out. Later, guys. I guess I should probably go deal with that.